Hi class, this presentation will cover the group project. Make sure you pay close attention because we have a very limited time to work on this in class. So the more you know prior to the day that we meet to go over it, the better you'll be in the long run. So this is an assignment required by the state. Now how we go about this group project is left up to each professor, but you will also see this done in some of your other classes as well in Comp 2. So again, this is something done by the state, but it will vary depending on the course and your professor's requirements. For my class and for Comp 2, you will be completing research tasks, a self and peer appraisal handout, and a research reflection form. So the course objectives is to gather and summarize information about a topic you are researching, to create a quick reference that will remind you of what your various sources argued, and to preserve a record of research. Now how this works, it'll be tied to the research project and the research, the argument essay. So the information that you gather with your group will also be the information that you use for your argument paper. So this will be 10% of your grade, 100 points. So the group proposal, which you will turn in at the end of class, is worth 10 points. This should be turned in by the facilitator, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute. You will gather sources. The whole group will gather sources. It's worth 20 points, and it's very important that you gather the right types of sources. Because this is worth 20 points, I'm actually looking for really detailed, specific scholarly sources. And so in order to understand what a scholarly source is, I have also included many handouts in Blackboard that will show you the difference between just basic web sources, and that also includes Google Scholar. That is not necessarily scholarly information in there. Many of the articles there are not the complete articles, so you're going to be finding sources through our databases. And so you can look at some of the handouts so you'll understand what a scholarly source is. And within those 8 sources, you will also include 2 counterpoints and at least 1 book. And this excludes Google Books, so an actual book. 3 reputable websites, and again, this cannot be Wikipedia. That there has to be some kind of credentials by that you've actually evaluated those websites to make sure that they are good websites and that the information on them are good. Because again, all this information that you're gathering for this group project will be some of the sources that you use for your paper. So the more you dig and find good sources, the better your argument paper will be in the long run. Then your group will actually turn in a works cited page listing all of your sources in MLA formatting. Now it depends on how you guys decide to do this. One person can build the works cited and the other people look for the information. That's left up for the group to decide how you want to build your sources, but it should just really be one person building the works cited page, so that way you don't have one source that's correct and the other sources are incorrect. And this may be something that the facilitator may want to do. And then there's a group MLA handout that covers MLA documentation and formatting. This should be a group assignment. Everybody you can decide who's going to do how many the questions, but it is just one handout per group, and there's quite a few questions on that handout, so you do not want to wait until the last minute to start that handout. And then the self and peer appraisal form, each person within the group must complete this form, and again, you can find all this information in Blackboard. But the appraisal form should be honest. I'm looking for honest answers. You're not getting more points or less points if you're saying that you were a great team player and everybody else sucked. It should be actual how you felt about working as a group. So the more details that you provide, the more specifics that you provide, your honesty and your scoring, you will get the maximum points. Again, it's not based on whether you were just this awesome team player, but how you felt about working as a group, what you could have done better. It's just basically a reflection of working in the group. Now, the research reflection is worth 20 points. Notice that it's also a big point maker. And this is based on your individual research. What can you use out of the research that you have found? what do you need, what do you plan on arguing, how do you plan on building your argument essay. And there's a list of questions that you can use as a reference as you work on this assignment. Now, the research reflection does require that you use citations and format your paper correctly. So again, the group handout that is listed can also help you with this assignment. Now, here are the research topics, and I want you to think about these topics before we meet. School instruction, American Dream, civil disobedience, U.S. interrogation tactics, police brutality, and college debt. Now, each one of these have some research questions on the assignment sheet that's posted in Blackboard, but they're very broad topics. So, and the reason why I made them broad is because you are working in a group, and so each one of you can take something specific under this umbrella and research it. So you may want to, as a group, narrow the topic down a little bit and may need to narrow down the questions a little bit. But again, this is they're broad because that gives everybody an opportunity to branch off to do something that they want to do within that topic. So the more you know as to what you want to do for these topics, the better you'll have an opportunity to look for other peers that may have something at the same interest, or you will have an opportunity to look at some kind of concept within it. So step 1 and 2, the first thing that we'll do is you're going to choose your group members. And again, you can find people that have a similar interest in those topics, or you can just pick people that you feel that you will mesh well with and you know that they'll do the work, and then choose a topic. It's up to you. The next thing that you'll do is choose the topic and research question. Again, you may need to narrow your topic down a bit, and I do have some handouts that cover how to narrow your topic, how to begin research. And so you may want to look at these prior to class on Wednesday, so that way, again, the more you have narrowed, the more you can able to go out and start looking for your sources. Step 3 and 4, again, this is some things that we'll do in class. You want to assign duties. This is so important. Find out who's going to be what I call the facilitator. This person is the leader of the group. This person should have adequate time to work on this outside of class. So if you're working 40, 50 hours and you're taking a full load, you may not be the person for the job. You want someone who is dependable, who you can trust, that comes to class on time and every day, so that way you feel you can trust that person, feel confident in that person. You also need somebody to be like a record keeper and or scribe. This person will contact everyone within the group, make sure that everybody's doing their job, communicating with everyone. And then the other things, you can have someone that's maybe a tech person. I highly suggest that you do some of these activities in Google Docs. And so if you have someone in your group who understands how to use Google Docs and sharing documents, that would be a great way to do this project. If you do not know how to use Google Docs, or if you do not have a Google account, I can also create group pages in Blackboard. I just need to know from the team facilitator if this is what you need from me. And then go on to delegating the task. This is also an important step. Do not wait until the last minute to decide who's going to do what. As soon as you assign the duties, who's going to do what within the group, start figuring out who's going to gather what information. Are you going to have everybody gather 3 or 4, 1 or 2? Who's going to do what, so that way you can get things done. And also, it's important that you assign a deadline for everyone in your group. So you will have the deadline for when all this is due as a group, but you also probably want it done, have them send it in prior to that due date, so that way the facilitator and maybe even the record keeper can look over the information. The record keeper can send it out to everybody, so everybody have a say into it, so that way you're not rushing at the last minute. So again, it's very important that you have a strong team facilitator to make sure that everybody's doing what they should be doing. And if there's someone that falls off and may not be doing the work he or she should be doing, you need to contact me, so that way I know what's going on. So again, by the end of class, you can either email me or you can have this written out, but again, it has to be formal. Your topic, your specific research subject, the research question, if it's anything other than what I have listed, who's in your group, who's responsible for what, and also consider a backup plan. If somebody should fall through, who's going to take up that slack? Would that be the facilitator, the record keeper, or you're going to distribute out those tasks if somebody doesn't pull their weight? How are you going to handle those kind of issues? And also your proposed timeline. The more information you can give me, if something should happen, I know how to address it. Step 5 and 6, this will be done out of class. Wednesday, October the 7th, we'll have a research day. We'll meet in the library, and that way you can ask the librarians for help. You can work in small groups. They have those little small rooms that your group can go into, and you can work on your paper, your information there. You can also email each other, do group chat, Google Docs. Again, I absolutely love Google Docs. But figure out how you can use your time wisely. So the more you know prior to class, the better you will be. So Wednesday, we will not meet in our classroom. We will meet in the library, so that way we can utilize our time wisely. I will not cover this information in class because watching the video should answer most of your questions. If not, you can email me. But as soon as we get to the library, we're going to figure out who's going to be in what group, and then you guys can go on about your business and do what you need to do. The complete project is due Saturday, October 10th. So we do not have a lot of time, but we need to use our time wisely. Here are some important due dates. You're going to submit your proposal Wednesday, October 7th. Group projects are due Saturday, October 10th. We will have an in-class writing Monday, October 12th. The rough draft is due the 13th. Peer review is the 14th, and then the argument essay is due the 17th. So you see we have a lot of dates back to back, so we cannot waste our time. We need to stay vigilant and get this done. This is the argument essay is our last essay apart from the final. So this is it. We're rounding out. The last day of class, I believe, is October the 21st. So just hold strong. Let's get this done, and see you guys on Wednesday.